Welcome to Allie's Attic, where you never know what kind of surprise you're going to find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my guest is somebody I've been looking forward to forever. Bright blue hair, witty one-liners, and a powerful voice, and full of soul. Please welcome Mira Blues. Hello, Mira.
Hi, Allie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Grateful to be here.
I'm so glad you are here. Okay, so I obviously know a lot about you. I have your bio in front of me, plus I know you personally. But tell me, when did you decide that you were going to sing? And I just want to say you have one of the most unique voices I've heard in a long time. So I just wanted to get that in there.
Thank you.
When did you start?
Well, I started singing when I essentially was learning how to speak, like making sounds. I believe my parents heard me singing along with the Lion King cassette tape in the car, and I think they turned down the music and said, wait a minute, I think she's on key. She might be good at singing. And I was just always singing. And I guess I started musical theater camp when I was 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I was very shy about it, I must say. I still am in a weird way, at least internally, but I would actually steal my parents' cassette tapes from, of like the Beatles or the Eagles or something, and put it in my Fisher-Price recorder and record over it. And I would do talk shows, and I would be the host, and I would also be the guest, and I would sing on the show, and I would kind of do what you do. I was like,
oh, wow.
like a radio talk show host. And I would even do the commercials too. I would do all the voices, and I was very creative, but very private. Like it had to be in my room. No one could be around. And if anyone knocked on the door, I would immediately stop and deny everything.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you don't do that anymore. Now, I just want to talk about, okay, so you have a look. Not only do you have the unique voice, you have a unique look. Like you always have a blue wig and blue lipstick and blue nail polish, and that is your look.
Yes.
When did that come about?
That started, I believe, in about 2014, maybe 15. So, I'd say almost about 4 years ago.
Okay.
I love it. It started because, well, the color I've always liked, this kind of teal blue. It's always just been a personal favorite of mine. I would always get my nails done that color, and I would call it Mira Blue because I just did. I don't know. It was just some funny thing I thought when I was a teenager, and people just kind of believed it. And they were like, oh, that's so cool. You have a color with your name in it. And I just always thought that was funny that people actually believed me. And then I had an affinity for this color. And then when I got to college, which is when I started writing music, because like I said, I was very shy. So growing up, I took lessons, piano lessons. I took vocal lessons, studied opera, and did musical theater and choir. But then I quit because I was terrified to pursue it. But later, when I was in college, I finally started writing my own music. And people would always say, you write such sad music. Why don't you write something happy? And I would say, well, it's because I've got the Mira Blues. And I actually was told not to go by Mira Blues, the name. And I was told that was kind of misleading and silly. And I thought, well, I'm just going to do the opposite. And then, branding it's always been an important factor, but it seemed to be all people focused on at that time. And it was really because, the rise of more social media, primarily Instagram and Twitter and Facebook had evolved, and everything was just so globalized and oversaturated, right?
Yeah.
And so I am a smart aleck, and I was like, I'm just going to it's a satire on branding and on my actual content and art. So I thought I would take it a step further once people told me not to go by Mira Blues because, you're not a blues singer. That's going to be confusing. Why would you do that? And what if you don't like blue? And I was like, well, it's not just a wig. It's a lifestyle. And that's essentially, your brand is how you're perceived. And so I just kind of took it too far. Like I take most jokes and here we are.
Well, I gotta say, it suits you. Like it
Thank you.
completely suits you, and you do have like a very dry sense of humor and wit, so I can see you doing that. Okay, so like, remember how I don't even know? I think it was Beyonce. She had to like
Mhm.
create this other person so that she
Mhm.
could, do the sexy songs and the crazy songs. Is that kind of what you do with the blue wig and lipstick and nail polish?
So no, actually, and I
Okay.
get that question a lot. People think it's like Hannah Montana versus Miley Cyrus or Sasha Fierce and Beyonce, but it's more of like I always compare it to Sailor Moon because she's just she's still the same person. It's just she also happens to be fighting evil by moonlight, and then during the day she's like going to school and she's still the same girl. So I'm still the same.
Okay.
I didn't want it to be that's why I'm very open about my hair being a wig,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want people to think it's like this persona, this other person, or this character. It's really just a version of me. And it's a version that I feel the most confident and comfortable and able to be most effective, if you will. Especially if you think of it in terms of like someone like Sailor Moon, who's like a superhero. So yeah, it's really just someone who likes to play dress up, and I'm trying to inspire people to be the best version of themselves, however that manifests. For me, it just happens to be blue.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Thank you.
Now, you moved to Atlanta
Hmm.
and you've worked with Grammy nominated producer Cash Clay Beats.
Hmm.
Now, I'm going to say this wrong. I'm going to guarantee it. You were a panelist speaker at Courtney Horton's, is it Pewturn in Position to Win?
No, just Atlanta. Put them in position to win.
Put him. Oh, okay. Oh my God. Okay, why can't they just make that easy? All right.
Yeah.
And then, so you on that panel, you were alongside Bangladesh, Honorable C Note, Kenny Bartow,
Hmm.
and much more.
Hmm.
And most recently, I don't know when, but you were invited to perform on the New Music Facebook Live series on Hot 107.9.
Yes. Hmm.
That's cool.
That was this year. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Since getting to Atlanta, I have gotten to work with a lot of really cool people, and I've been doing some songwriting for other artists. Some I can't always mention
Hmm.
them because, especially if the music isn't out yet, or that's not really my place to say.
Yeah.
But definitely some cool people. There's a lot of very talented and active members of the industry in Atlanta, and yeah, recently Cash Clay and I were the production team for the Atlanta public school system. Did this competition with all of their high schools, and the winner from each school talent show got a production team to make a single for a big album that they're doing as for the public schools, pretty much. And so Cash and I were the team for one of the girls for Grady High School, and we actually won.
Awesome.
So I got to write a song for her, and she performed that for the whole school board and everybody, the whole school system. And obviously, I've been working on my own music,
Hmm.
which is not out yet. But yeah, no, Atlanta's really cool. It's definitely, there's so much creative work happening here.
Awesome. Now we're talking about your EP. It's called Surrender Avenue, right?
Hmm.
And it's going to be released. When do you think?
I don't have a date at this moment.
Okay.
That's always like a terrible thing to say, but I'm feeling honest today. But that's just part of this whole process. Sometimes it happens like, cool, it's going to be on this date, and on that date you're posting about it and everything's great. But then other times, a billion things happen between when you had the idea and when it's supposed to happen. So yeah, so I'm thinking 2019 is a safe answer.
Okay, that's a good answer. You're not pigeonholing yourself.
Right.
Now, it's going to be compiled of honest soul pop songs full of pain, passion, and catchy hooks, infused with a message. Now, are all your songs infused with messages? Is that purposeful?
Yes. Yeah, they're all. Sometimes, I mean, I think that I have an intention when I'm writing it, of what is on my mind in that moment, and then more is always revealed to me over time.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of like the initial message, and then there's a delayed reaction, which is cool and exciting and kind of frustrating at the same time for me.
Well, I think I listen to you any chance I get. Now, your latest single, Sleep, which is on Allie's Amplified Attic, people, just let you know, is produced by Everybody Know Stroud and Grand Hustle Studios, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's
in
now
Atlanta. Yeah.
In Atlanta. Okay. And it's now available on all digital platforms.
Yes.
And if you guys have not heard of Mira Blues, please follow her on all social media, but especially Instagram, because on Mondays you do Monday Blues.
Mm-hmm.
And is that just you singing or talking?
It's both, and it started because I was frustrated with, I was doing what we do as people, and I was comparing myself to others, and I thought, everybody, there's just a lot of people out there that are good looking, that are talented, that are just producing, like, mass producing videos and content like machines, and I was like, I'm just not good at this for various reasons. Either I'm a perfectionist, or I didn't have the gear at the time, or whatever it was. And so I thought, what am I good at? Well, I'm good at messing up. And not only am I good at messing up, but I'm good at making messing up fun. And I think that it's a really relatable thing that we do, right? We mess up. We're people. We're fallible. We always mess up. Yeah. And it's funny because we're taught as musicians, and especially as classical musicians and in theater, to never show the audience that you know that you messed up. So I'm trained that way. I'm trained to not respond, to not react. But I've kind of, gone against that. And now I literally include that in my show. And the Monday Blues video series originally was called Monday Blues Bloopers. It was just a bloopers reel. But then it kind of caught on and became this thing that people would look forward to, which is cool because everyone's like, oh, I hate Mondays, got the Monday blues. And again, I just took a joke too far and was like, yeah, but what if we got excited about Mondays? And now it's a blessing, and it's really cool because I get messages on Sunday from my fans that are like, I cannot wait until tomorrow. And it's like, that's awesome that they're excited for this video that comes out at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But, they also have work or school that day, and they're not even thinking about that now because they're excited about the video. So it's just kind of giving some people a little something to look forward to at the beginning of the week.
That is so cool. And it makes you more human. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
Now, based on what you've gone through so far in the industry, Mira, if you had any advice to give an artist out there, what do you think you would tell them?
Go to business school. I had one of those days yesterday. I was like, oh God, why didn't I go to law school? Like, this could have been, but it's fine. But no, I really am grateful that I have a passion, and, I'm aware of that. But sometimes our passion can be exhausting, frustrating, and exhausting and frustrating. But I would recommend to take a look around and see what you like, and network, meet people. And I used to hate when people were like, network. I'm like, what kind of BS answer is that? What is that? What does that mean? Like, do I go on the social network? Do I go out? Do I, but yes, all of it. When you meet people, tell them what you do. Make contacts, not just important business contacts, but just people, because that's also what I've learned about branding, is that if people like you and your brand, how they perceive you, they will in turn like your content and your art, and they will support you. And I just think it's important to get to know yourself on an artistic level and just on a human level, and and don't be impatient, because I was impatient, and I've said so many things like, if I'm this old, like if I'm 23 and I don't have this yet, I'm going to just quit. And it's like, well, I'm 27 now. And some of those things I have achieved, some of them I have not. And, you know, you can't have reservations. You have to be willing to adapt and get hip or get off the train, because we don't get to, there's so many things we can't control, you know?
Yeah.
All we can control are our actions. And so it would just be persistent, try to be on time, and network.
Well, that's great advice. That is great advice. And I mean, there's a lot of young indie artists out there that I interview that, you know, they're just starting out. And that's why I ask everybody for advice, because I think any advice is good advice, especially when they're young. Okay, now what song are we going to hear from you?
We are going to hear Sleep.
Yes, and it's awesome.
Thank you.
And you can find Mira on all social media, and like, I'm serious, follow her, and especially follow her on Instagram so you can catch the Monday Blues. And it's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, did you say?
Yes.
Okay, so make sure you are following her so you can watch that. And once your new EP comes out or anything new happens, Mira, you're always welcome to come back on the show anytime. And thank you so much for taking time out of your Saturday to come on. I totally appreciate it. And I wish you the best success. And if I don't hear that you got signed and you're like on Billboard, you know what I mean? Because I love your voice. But if that happens, you have to come back on too. But anyways, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. And thank you for joining me on Allie's Attic Show. Keep checking my website, because you never know what kind of surprises you're going to find in my attic. Cheers.
The sun's gonna shine and you're gonna stray everything back to its normal place. I'm drinking wine and you think I'm weak. Mistakes that are mine, I have to repeat. World's gonna turn and you never speak. Soaked in regret, consumed with defeat. We'll never learn and you hit your peak. Stuck with expectations that you never meet. Sleep now. When you wake, it'll all be over. Don't look down, just stay high and see how waking up is like starting over. Stand your ground, you'll get by. Well, now the sun's gone and your mind goes numb. Think to yourself, what have I done? Television on, and much to your dismay, the movie you deem perfect just won't play. Curtains are closed, then you feel confined. Make like the pines and close your eyes. Feels like everyone knows about your recent lies. Luckily for you, I got an escape in mind. Sleep now. When you wake, it'll all be over. Don't look down, just stay high and see how waking up is like starting over.